Hey guys, happy Sunday. Hopefully you're doing well. Let me bring the camera a little bit closer. So, this video will just be similar to the other videos that I did. As of this week, it's snowing outside. It looks so pretty. I was looking up different ways to save in 2025. And let's go back a little. So I saved a good portion of money in 2024. And like I always say, it depends on what you make. So in order to live comfortable enough where you can afford a car, a house, things like that, you have to be making more than minimum wage. So with a salary that I had at the law firm, then I changed jobs recently. And with that job, I didn't really like it. It wasn't comfortable as to something that would give me growth in an accounting career. It was similar to the same thing I was doing at the law firm, but adding on a little bit more duties. But I don't really like Excel like that. So that was like horrible. So now with the city job that I have, I am in an area of seeing the full cycle of, oh, well, I'm doing one thing over here. This connects to, I'm doing like a invoice, and this, how does this connect to a deposit? Or how does that connect into people with payroll or new employee or something like that? So that's all interesting. And I was just looking recently because it's rolling into almost the middle of January, and looking online, I see 50, 30, 20, and 50 for your needs, 50% of your income, 30% of your wants, and 20% of savings. So in my 2024 and at the end of 2023, with the bonus that I got at my other job at the law firm, I just saved a decent portion of that because it's around Christmas and I wanted to use some money for, your Christmas shopping and stuff. So I've had my credit cards for just about almost 9 years. So when I was 18, I figured, oh, I'm not on anyone's credit. I don't have, parents that put me on that credit or something. Looking at my credit, oh, you're 500. Someone's going to give you a chance. So it just so happened that two creditors gave me a chance, and then I got my credit card, got myself rolling and started. I ended up using my card and using it to the max. Like, you're young. You're just like, oh, I like this. I need this, right? So, but what I did learn to do is to make the payment, even if the payment was $25, because I was working part-time job while I was in college as well. So part-time job, and I don't know that much about credit cards and how I'm supposed to maintain it, but I knew that I was supposed to at least make the minimum payment. And then 4 years later, my credit rose a little bit more just from making the minimum payment. It doesn't matter. The utilization matters about how much you're using your card and the health of that. But after 4 years, and we seeing that you're paying your bill, your $35 every month, and then on this card, if it's a amount. So starting off with one card, I would recommend don't have two credit cards when you're young, because you might run both of them down to the ground. Make your minimum payment. And then when I started off at the law firm, I had that job for almost 5 years, and I decided to find another position that was similar, more pay, but in a similar field as what I was doing, but a little more responsibility. And I decided, or in my mind, it was like basically, okay, this is not something that I'm liking to do. Now I have a city job. So basically that was a few months with that position, and now I'm new in a different position. So my experience of 4 years in college and almost 5 years, that's 9 years, and then adding on the little months that I was at that other job, that's about 9 years of building up credit. I would say that the most responsibility that I learned was at the law firm of, let's put the $35, and then if I can give a little bit more, because in Chicago, they do take a lot of taxes depending on where you live. You're living in one state and you work in another state, they're going to double tax you. So, I kind of figured that anyway, but I'm grateful to have found something closer to home. And back to what I was saying, the 50, 30, 20 rule. When you're making income over here, that's different, and then it will be a little bit more if you lived in that state and then you move to your own state, and then the income is similar but a little bit more. So here we go. 50% of your needs, 30% of your wants, 20%. So the 50 and the 30, your needs, definitely house, lights, etc., water, food. the basic necessities of transportation. 30% of your wants, clothes. Okay, you could be a person that wants to shop for clothes every week. That's not me. You could be a seasonal person. Okay, I want to do a winter, I want to do a summer, or I want to do a fall, and I want to do a spring. Or you're like me, you mix and match your clothes together. Whatever you've not used in a while, get rid of, and then only get like a coat or boots and certain necessities that you need, etc. As that comes along. So that can help you save as well. And then the 20%, I forced myself to save. I forced myself to save half of my half of the bonus that I had. I forced myself every year. As of last year, I was like, okay, I see how the taxes is looking. I'm going to use the state taxes. I'm going to force myself to save the federal, or at least a decent portion of it, at least 80% of what you get. Save that, because you already paid your bills and things like that. You're not relying on your tax refund to pay your bills. At least I'm not. Like, oh, maybe this can be a little bit from a phone bill or something. You can have your extra hustle going on. You can do you some ride sharing or cooking on the side for someone for extra money, something like that. I do YouTube, and that's my extra money. So the 50, the 30%, your wants. I wouldn't call myself a fashionista, so the clothes, we already got that out of the way. Another want would be, depending on your crafts, like I do a lot of art, but I bought a lot of canvases in bulk. I bought the paint and everything. It came a lot of different colors came together, so that's something that you could just use over time. I could say it's kind of saving you money. I save myself money because I don't go out to eat much, and if I do some entertainment, that's because I have some extra money left over. I'm going to save this, or not touch it, or take it out of your bank account and use it as cash when you go somewhere. Or you can use your credit card if you want. Just don't go too crazy with it, because you're going to get in a habit of thinking that it's okay to use that. No, use your credit card when then you'll be able to have a payment coming up. Okay, I can go ahead and pay that bill off. The 20%, guys, I would just say force yourself to save. I forced myself. I knew, okay, I paid the rent, paid the lights, paid the bills that needed to be paid. I have a little bit left over. Did you go grocery shopping? Yes. Okay. Did you get some ice cream or whatever? You think, oh, well, this is a few snacks for myself. Yes. Okay, great. The rest of this money, put it to the side. Even if you can't do that in a year, throughout the year, even if you're saving like $100 out of your paycheck, it's something. Okay, $100 is something. I was saving at one point, well, because I'm going through the moving and stuff soon, it'll probably be like $400 every 2 weeks. So then I'll be able to save $800 in a month. I think I was saving probably about a good $1,200. That's where, and then sometimes it wasn't $1,200. Sometimes it might have been, it's just $800. Okay, this time it's $500 or $600, just so I can meet my savings goals. But this year my goal is just the $6,000 for a year, because I found out that my credit score was a 750. So a way to get your credit score up is by paying the bill little by little. And I taught myself that, and I learned from someone else about saving, as far as like, oh, well, you save a certain amount of money, and it's like, yes. And I was just forced myself in my mind that something that I didn't do when I was younger, thinking that, oh, first of all, let me go back. I didn't have a car for a few years when I was younger, so I used to pay for Lyft a lot, and that's where my money was coming out of working, versus me paying for versus me having a car now. It's less money than paying for the Lyft every day. When you look every day of the Lyfts that you're paying for, and this was like 3 years ago when I first started working and everything, you still got to be on top of your bills. Right, you have to pay your bills, but you have to be able to move around too. Transportation is important. Doing fun things, you need to take a little bit out of your check to do something fun, even if you're buying yourself a boba and having a nice little meal and going to an arcade, right? Or a movie, if that's what you want to do. So you got to take money out of your check. You got to do something fun. A lot of my money was freed up when I got a car. So that's the reason why I was able to save a little more. But then a lot of my money went to, you got to pay your car payment and you got to pay your insurance. But you can separate that. You can pay your insurance at the end of the month. You can pay your car payment at the beginning of the month, or, somewhat a little bit before the middle of the month. So that's little ways to move your money around. Rent, is first. And then at the end of the month, you don't do your rent, your car, and everything at the beginning of the month. You can do your rent at the beginning of the month. And then at the end of the month, you can do your car payment or something else or in between, so that it can alleviate your paycheck as you go. And then you can find yourself saving $200, $300 or more. So yeah, it's just interesting. I had to teach myself these things. And I was looking at my credit score and I was like, oh, 750 took me 9 years. But I was 18, right? Had a job for about 5 years. 18, about 23. Oh, well, no. Oh, excuse me. Went to college, so 18, about 22, I graduated. So I'm starting off at 22. So from 22, having that job for 5 years, I left that job about at, I would say I left when I was 27. Yeah, so, and then finding something similar to what I like to do, being 28 now. So yeah, a big chunk of learning was sitting in one spot, learning that job and like, okay, well, this is what I want to do. I want to be responsible. And then, okay, well, I see everyone using their taxes. Don't use your taxes. Just go ahead and save that. So yeah, you gotta force yourself from 22 to 27. It's 5 years. You need to be learning something. So that's what I learned.